You know what? I have that problem.
Hey, everybody. Look how many people we have on here tonight. Woohoo! It is a Super Bowl party. Super excited to see my friends. Holy cow, we've got everybody. We've got Florida. We've got Rhode Island. We've got Georgia. We've got Pennsylvania. We just have got a lot of areas covered. So super excited to have you guys. And let me tell you, I don't watch Super Bowl, but go Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Oh, we can talk about the Super Bowl in this? That would be awesome.
Did you get your team to win? Did your team win?
No, I honestly, the only thing I was there to see was Taylor Swift's halftime show. I heard that she didn't make it back from Japan and someone else had to step in. That's all I got.
I was trying to decide if she got the box seats. Did she end up getting the box seats? It was that big. I figured NFL had to give them to her.
No, actually, he has to pay for them. But
yeah, but I mean, they're getting so much publicity off of her. I bet that because he said he wasn't going to spend the money, and it was like $2 million or something, you know. But I'm pretty sure she ended up in the deal.
I heard he paid $1 million for it.
Between last year's halftime show and then this year's halftime show, I think 2000s R&B has a special place in my iPod and my music. So I've been there for all that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of people saying hello. Hello, everybody. Look at everybody. Yay. Look, she's the billionaire. She can afford it. She's talking about you, Susan. You said you'd pay $1 million for it.
What'd you say?
That you said, Maureen says that because you said you would. Oh, she's talking about Taylor Swift. Yeah. I thought she was talking about you.
No, she's talking about Taylor.
I bet they got a deal because they have gotten so much publicity. Okay, hi everybody! Woohoo! Sorry, Maureen, I didn't mean to sell you out. I was having
Did you have a favorite commercial, Jennifer?
Yes, I had a bunch of them. I thought one that I was going to redo today, but I ended up not doing it yet, was the Arnold Schwarzenegger one because I thought that would be really funny. Like,
that's hilarious.
Where's my buyer? Do you have a buyer? I thought that could be a really good play on that one. And then the Dunkin' Donuts one I thought was hilarious. What about you guys?
Go for it, Hilary.
Favorite commercial?
You cut out there for a second.
Favorite commercial? What's your favorite commercial?
The Dunkin' commercial. Yeah. That was pretty epic.
Dunkin' and Arnold.
Yeah, those are my two.
Feet commercial was odd.
The first couple of commercials, I was like, is there anything else other than movies? Like there was a whole lot of movies.
Yeah. I like the NFL ticket advertisement where they use the teams, the Ravens were on there. They were up in the trees.
Yeah, that was funny.
I thought that was a pretty funny commercial along with all the other ones, but there were some interesting ones that were not so funny.
Yeah, it was funny because I posted on Facebook last night and then so many people were like, I didn't like any of them. And I was like, well, you're kind of being mean. I thought some of them were good. I mean, they weren't as good as they have been in the past, but I thought overall.
Yeah, I thought the one with Ken Jeong from the Hangover movies was hysterical with the Popeye's chicken. Because I think Allegiant Stadium, where it was held last night in Vegas, looks like a giant Roomba. Like if you've ever seen, looks like a giant, and then he's scared of the Roomba in the commercial. I thought that's hysterical.
The only way that this group would have been better is if we got one of the Vegas agents to jump on with us.
See?
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree. So talk to me about your markets. Like what are you guys seeing right now as far as prices compared to last year, days on the market compared to last year, and your inventory? Don't all start at one time.
Steve, you want to go first?
All right, I'll take it. I'm in the middle, top.
Yeah, we can go in order.
I don't know if I am for everybody else.
Yes, you are.
So
you're always in the top.
One of the things I'm experiencing in my market is a standstill. It's like the wild, wild west. Is Jennifer going to shoot first or is Hilary going to shoot first? I think you have this mentality where as realtors, I feel like we always have that, rates are going to drop, so you better buy because everyone's going to spend $60,000 over. I'm not seeing that in my market. I'm seeing that the rates did drop significantly since Halloween, right?
Yes.
but the buyers are getting smarter, which is great. They're not spending $70,000 over market anymore, but it's like a standstill. They're not willing to. They dropped, but they don't want to pay over. And then sellers, they understand the market, but they also want what they want. So it really comes down to the negotiations of the, where are we and what can we do to make this work for both parties? And yeah.
No, I totally agree. And I always think it comes back to, right, your experienced agents that know that know those negotiating skills.
Sure.
So then, Stephen, what about your days on the market? Are you seeing a little bit more there?
Yes. So I particularly focused on like the last week of September going into October compared to now, because that's where I found like 8 to 8.5% interest rates, or at least that's where I remember them. So back then, the average days on market for Northeast Philadelphia. And I want to ask you all, raise your hand if you've been to Philadelphia. Okay. Philadelphia.
Been a while. I need to come out and visit you.
Philadelphia has about like 25 zip codes. It's huge. Not many people know that. When you come to visit Philadelphia, you probably just go to the downtown touristy area, which is fine. That's like 4 zip codes out of the 25. So I focused on Northeast Philadelphia, where I was born and raised. We saw price points of average around like 305,000, right? At list. Closing, it was about 310,000. So they were closing like over. But now, about a week ago, you're seeing it like a little bit still over closed of what it started at, but not as much. And you're seeing the days on market go higher. So the average days on market were, just say, around 26 back then. Now they're like 29, creeping up a little bit. Not as much, but they are creeping up slightly. Yes. You would think that the reverse would happen, but it's not with the interest rates. It's kind of leveling out.
Yeah. Starting to see a little bit of level out too. What about you, Hilary? What are you seeing?
Oh gosh, our market is crazy. So being in Rhode Island, we have a population of 1 million people, and it's crazy. We have 40 towns and cities. 2 of those are islands you got to have a boat to get to. One of them being Block Island. With the million population, we have 600. Now, pre-COVID, I remember over 2,500 properties active on the market. I could show 10 properties on a Saturday, 10 on a Sunday. We have 686 single family homes in the entire state, over 5 counties. That's nothing. So it's
nothing.
However, I'm still seeing, unlike Steve, I actually am about to put an offer in on a property with a client. We are probably going to see about, I would say 10 offers on that table. So it is going to be a multiple offer situation. I just put in another one a couple days ago. Same thing, 5 offers on the table. Another one I heard of a couple days ago was 12 offers. Because we have such low inventory here in the state, because we are coastal, I am seeing multiple offers over asking still. Wow. Even though I will say some people are still hesitant with the fact that we do think rates are probably going to drop in April. We'll see. But that's where I am seeing over asking offers. But we're getting smarter. We're going back to old strategies. I'm not going to say here because that might give away our current strategy, which I'm going to put an offer in on. Yeah. But we're going back to older strategies to make our offer stronger no matter what, Yeah,
back to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you, Jason? What are you seeing down in Florida?
Ladies first.
Okay. Sorry, Susan. Yes, that is the order. I was just sorry.
No, I mean, the market, like Steve and I talked about this before, it's an interesting market, and it's like, who is going to move first? I just put 2 properties on the market, and both of them sold within a matter of days.
Good job.
I try not to say a whole lot, but I do think they, them being show ready, we went through staging and professional, painting and photography, that it gets it out there, and you want to push it and, kind of showcase it as much as possible before it hits the market. Yeah. But it was interesting because one of them, I only had 1 showing scheduled before the open house, but the open house was, we had 8 couples through, and they all had agents, and they were all saying, well, I didn't want to bother my agent until I really knew if I liked it or not. And one of those couples are the ones that went under contract. And so, so it was great for them. But the other house we listed had 7 offers on it.
Holy cow.
And so you're just, we're over, I don't want to say too much, but so there's probably in the area that I live in, So I try to go micro on it. And there's like 68 houses for sale right now. And that's all price ranges. Our average or the lowest price range is probably in the low 4s, maybe high 3s,
Wow.
up into the millions. But I mean, that's not many houses at all.
No, that's not me. What are you seeing as far as prices? What are the prices doing there?
Our prices, it's really area by area and almost street by street, because it could be this floor plan sells great if it's a ranch. People are dying for it. Or if it's on a basement, then everybody needs it. But if it's kind of a quirky floor plan with that needs something, or maybe the backyard is like, for a billy goat, then it just is taking longer to sell. But, the average days on the market, for me personally, and what I'm seeing, you're probably in the, on an average in like 30s, but specific areas, it can be 5 days,
Wow. Right. Location. Location.
They're in DeKalb, where I live, is there's probably only like 1,044 houses total. And so it's still low inventory. And so it's lower than it was last year. And even last year was low. So
Same here.
we'll see. I think if the rates keep coming down, I mean, I don't think it's bothering people too much, because there's some incentives from some of the lenders that are happening right now, which is great. But I did have one person I wanted to share this one. One of the offers that I had received on one of the properties was like $15,000 over the list price.
Wow.
But the buyer was doing a 3.5% down with no appraisal gap coverage.
Wow.
So it would, it wouldn't benefit the seller to take that, because what if it doesn't appraise, where there was a cash offer that they could take, or a better financing offer that had appraisal gap coverage. So those are really hard if you're a first-time home buyer in this market right now. They're still sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting. We had an attorney draft an appraisal gap addendum for us. However, it's really not applicable in our market, because we've got a due diligence date, and the buyer can walk for any reason or no reason within that due diligence date. So it's
right.
But it made a couple of people feel better, especially people from out of state that had heard about the appraisal gaps. What about you, Jason? What are you seeing?
So we kind of have a little bit of an odd market. And I say that because one thing goes up, the other thing goes down, kind of like what you would expect, one factors, but it doesn't make sense. In December, we had one of the lowest months of sales. And over the September, October, November, December, like our prices dipped a little bit, only like 10 or 20,000 to about 380. We had about 600 sales in December with the rates kind of where they were. In January, we had, 436 sales.
Wow.
Prices spiked to 397. So prices
You're like,
went
what?
up with less sales. So, and if you look at it, and I'm a numbers guy, statistically, because the median was at the higher price points.
Yeah.
The higher price points aren't affected by buyers. They don't care about the interest rates at the higher price points. They're like, look, if I want to buy a $1 million house, I'm going to buy a $1 million house. So we saw a lot of that, and a lot of buyers who are sitting on the fence waiting for the rates, but they're like, I don't want to compete. And here's what's going to happen. And we use this as one of our median or our meeting points for our team, that what we see is houses that have been on the market for 3 months got multiple offers. I had a house 131 days on the market, had 3 offers over the same weekend, pushed the price up. I had another property. It was on the market. I really thought this was going to be one. It needed a specific buyer. It had several offers. And when I say it was significantly, it was 20,000 over list price. And it was and most of the offers were cash.
Wow.
So, the bottom line, I mean, our market, because we fester on a lot of military, being that we have like 7 bases within stone throw of here. I think like Nick Bailey talks about it a lot. Number one reason why people buy and sell homes, it's life. So when you get orders to transfer, you're moving. When you get this, you're out of the area. When you get married and you're having a child, the 2-bedroom isn't going to work anymore.
That's right.
And they're like, what can I do? What can I do? And I think a lot of the buyers right now are holding off. We have a lot of buyers in the pipeline ready to go. I'm afraid they're all going to unload at the same time. We're talking 20 or 30 contracts, and we're going to be running around crazy. But I think the market, we have a lot of artificial inventory, and we talk about it every day. Artificial inventory is driving our market where we think we have 7 months of inventory. We really don't. We only have about 3, and it'll get sucked up in a month as soon as the buyers come out of the woodwork, which they're starting to.
Yeah.
Right.
We're starting to see, I mean, so in Wilmington, North Carolina, so we are on the East Coast. We are an hour north of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So if you look in the Wilmington area, our prices have gone up. They've actually gone up like 18% from last year over date. The days on the market have gone up to 52 days on the market from 32. So we're starting to see prices are still going up. Days on the market are getting a little bit longer, but inventory, we still don't have any inventory in Wilmington, which we only have like 1.5 months of inventory. So it's still very much of a seller's market. However, when I started doing like a deeper dive, so if you look at Wilmington, but if you look at the county, we have like 4 beaches that are still within our county that are just, depends on where you are, but 10 to 20 minutes from the center of Wilmington. So you have Wrightsville Beach. If you look at Wrightsville Beach, last year this time, their average price point was like 2.2 million. But I looked today and it had gone down 18%. And the average price point was like 1.8. So I thought that was interesting. And then we have Carolina Beach, which our prices had gone up by 2%, but the average price at Carolina Beach is $800,000. So it's a vastly different, even though the beaches aren't very far apart. The price is very different, which reminded me a little bit of Susan talking about.
Well, and I didn't even talk about days on market. It's been trickling down, but we actually ran the numbers today in a local mastermind group. All the ones that have sold have trickled down. The average sale or the days on market was like 51. It's like in the 40s, 44, 46. The average days on market of the homes that are staying on the market are more than twice that. It's like 88.
Wow.
And yet some of those are going multiple offers as we speak. So it's
even 88 days later.
Yeah. I said 131 days. I had 3 offers and it was that one was above list.
Yeah. Jason, did you have any price drops on the 180 day one?
The 131 day, we did not, but that was the reason of why we listed it. We should have in anything normally. And I told them when I took long story short, it was mother wasn't doing well. She ended up passing the weekend we listed the home. And I told them we listed a little low because she didn't want to have to handle it. We got it into an estate when she passed. The kids asked me, she goes, "What do you want to do?" I said, "You can't raise the price, but I don't suggest lowering it." Yeah. And they got the price it should have been at.
Good. Well, good. Well, yeah, we're seeing, we only have 502 homes in inventory, which is down 32% from last year. So, we're not big like you guys. I mean, the Wilmington area has about 120,000 people. And if you go to the Tri-County area, you're talking about like 215. So we're a lot smaller. They're definitely smaller than Atlanta. It sounds like a lot smaller than most of you. Yeah. Stephen, with Philadelphia, do you know where Haverford, Pennsylvania is?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, that's where my grandmother lived.
Right outside of Philadelphia. Funny that you said that because, Philadelphia, and then there's about 3 or 4 counties that touch Philadelphia. I don't know if any of yous are using this, and I say use because that's a Philly word that we all use. I am doing a lot of reverse psychology. And what I mean by that is when I am speaking with a buyer about submitting an offer, I go on a listing appointment with them. I walk them through the steps of where the seller came up with their list price, why they're at this price, updates, aesthetics. That works well so they're understanding, well, just because there's multiple offers, I'm still not offering way over. Well, this is how we got to that price. Now, in regards to having a listing, just say you have a listing and it's experiencing longer days on market that the data is telling you. I go on a buyer's consult with my sellers. I said, look, we're on the market 22 days. That's not long, but you feel like that's long, right? You feel that that's long. Yeah. I said to them, look, I'm going to walk you through what it's like being a buyer now. They may think that there's something wrong with your house or, that the price is too high, even though it's not. So that's why we may have to, drop the price down lower. Or as we spoke about before at the beginning of our listing appointment, this is where we should have been. So that works out good with like speaking it from like, the other side, because your client knows you're on your side, but you have to hear it from the other perspective.
That's right. That's smart. That's really smart. So then what do you do to stand out? So that's what you do to stand out to buyers, and that's super smart. What do you do for sellers?
Ooh, so sellers, I always say, I am more of a physical, emotional person, so I always let my personality speak for myself. But
No, really?
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
And I love that about you.
My marketing, I think, stands out a lot because we can see right now my compasses are behind me. Part of my all my for sale signs are my riders that also blend into my marketing about my journey and my adventures. But when I meet with a seller, I specifically talk about myself, my background, professional photos, staging if it needs it. But lately, I've had a niche for closing referrals where I've met the seller once. And what I mean by that is most of them are out of state. There maybe it was an estate, or they don't have their tenant no more. They live in Florida. And I think the trust factor comes into play a lot. Like, just stay down in Florida. You don't even have to fly up. I will handle A through Z with all of my contacts. So I've had a niche for really saying, like, look, I closed this house, met the person once. You can trust me. I'll get everybody in and out. This is what we're going to do. Sign a deed package. I'll get you your check. So it's kind of like a hidden niche of like, you don't have to meet me, but you can trust me.
Yeah, I love it.
Steve, you definitely, when I hear your stories, you're definitely doing more than most listing agents would do when you go take care of things in a vacant house or whatever for a seller. So
there's been times when I've brought like clippers for the lawns and everything of that nature. So
I did the same thing.
Girl, me too. I had a divorce.
There are listings that I go on and I have to go do something. Trust me, I'm not wearing these digs
Oh,
when
no.
I go take care of those. And I'm sure we've all done it.
Yeah. And I always make sellers laugh. I said, like, full disclosure, I just came from another showing where I knew I was going to be like, down getting dirty under the pipes because the bathroom's leaking. So I'm not in my suit and tie. Don't worry about that. And they start laughing at me.
Oh, that's fine. What about you, Hilary? What do you do to stand out for your buyers and then your sellers in this market?
So kind of piggybacking a little bit on with Jason and Steve is I work with my buyers a lot, and I do a reverse I almost as though I was going to list the house, right? Similar to what you're doing is I take it away as though the house is not listed. What would I list it for? And really back it up as though this is what we're doing. So I think this is a very good aspect that we can provide people based on the fact that this is the reality. Here are the comps. Here's what the listing agent is showing to her or his, seller. And this is why they're listing at this price. There also might be a little wiggle room.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. Also, down and dirty, I've got these claws that I call jaws because it literally cuts through any type of branch. I keep them in my trunk. I keep them in my trunk. They're like this big, but they're like massive when you actually get down into it. And kind of branching off of what Jason says, we have a military branch here too. We've got the Navy, ironically, in here too. So, and a conversation we've had as well.
That's awesome. What about you, Susan? What do you do?
Well, for my sellers, of course, we all love to say we have a great personality and they hire us for our personalities, but that's not the truth. I feel like I'm very trustworthy, and when I talk to my sellers, and I really harp on getting the price right is one of my biggest things, is working with them. And we don't officially price it. I give them a range and then we double check it one more time. Holly Fogel was great to do a 7-step pricing strategy and working through that. And Kristen, our broker, has really, really helped me hone on that. So I feel like right now in this market, price is so critical, because if you overprice it, you're sitting on the market and then you're chasing the market down. So that's one of the biggest things I harp on. And then the others is professional photos. We provide a stager for 2 hours to come in, whether it's advising them on paint colors or placement of furniture or whatever. And then on the buyers, I do almost everything for my buyer. Short of, I had someone ask me the other day if I would wash her hair, and I was like, I can't think I could do that, but I'll take them to the grocery store while we're out showing property, help provide a home warranty when they purchase the house. Mm-hmm. And really, I think it's the same thing we've all talked about, is going back and looking at the prices and really drilling down on where this price is coming from. And then sometimes they can reach out to the listing agent and say, help me help you.
Yeah.
This is what I'm coming up with. Am I missing something? And sometimes you kind of get the answer, which maybe they feel like it's overpriced, or like it's what the seller wanted. And so you're like, okay, maybe that means the price is negotiable. So let's talk about how do we negotiate through that without offending a seller, but getting the best deal for your buyers. And then also working on the financing. What's the best financing option to get them into a house? So those are the value propositions that I feel like help me stand out.
Yeah. No, I think those are awesome. That's really good. What about you, Jason? What do you do?
I do something similar to what Steve brought up, but I don't do it at what length, which I commend him for. I always start out both consultations. If I go into a listing appointment, it's probably something I'll say inside of 5 minutes. If I'm talking to a buyer, I somehow slip this in. Look, every time on a buyer side, I will comp the property. I want to know as a listing agent what I would have listed this at and give you an idea exactly where I think it should lie and where I think you can be in order to acquire the property. But something I'll say, and I know that you've got a ton of people watching this. If you like this phrase, use it, because somebody at a mastermind I went to locally loved it. I'm never going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to know. And if you understand that, look, I'll fight for anything you want. I will fight for literally anything you want me to, but you have to understand, if I tell you you should be at 500, you want to offer 450, the lower you go, the higher they're going to come back in a counter offer. And realistically, you're going to spend more than you thought. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to know. You have to reap the benefits and suffer the consequences of exactly what you are either following my advice or negating my advice. Which one do you want to do? And I would say 90% of people realize I'm on your side, but I'm going to give you the harsh truth. And if you can't accept that, when you get burned, you're going to go, okay, maybe I should have listened. And sometimes you benefit, but that's rare because I'm going to be realistic with you. So I try to be authentic. I try to be realistic. And when I'm pricing out homes, the one we just talked about, I give them a range. And here's the middle. And I want to be just slightly below what the average price point should be, because I don't want to get one good offer. I want to get 3 solid offers that don't ask for a lot of concessions. I want to get you in a position that you're getting what you want. With
best negotiating position possible. Absolutely.
Exactly. So I tell you what I think. And look, where do you want to list it? You want to list it $40,000 over what I think? I hope you win. But if I'm not wrong, then you're going to, and I use this phrase, I actually wrote this down when Susan said it, you're going to chase the boulder down the hill, and you cannot run faster than that boulder. When the price points start dropping, you're going to go down faster than what you're going to get. You're going to make less money than you thought you would make at that price point.
I agree.
Jason, following off of like what you said about, telling people what they, need to know. One of the things that I've always implemented into my life and then works well with my business is a quote from Maya Angelou that many of you may know, that people aren't going to remember what you did. They're not going to remember what you said, but they're going to remember how you made them feel.
100%.
We have to be emotionally intelligent people. And I was just in a seminar the other day about emotional intelligence. So I think more so now than ever. That's it.
You bring that up, and it's not the same author, but and I can't remember it, and I just lost it. There is a course or a book on emotional intelligence. And if you understand, and part of one of the chapters talks about breaking that out in such a way that there's emotion. And in the case I just told you, I told the family when mom died, you've got something to deal with. Let me deal with all this extracurricular. They got a lot of low offers. I said, stop being emotional. Let me deal with the numbers for you. You are going to be emotional, and that's okay. So when they're yelling at me, like, I don't mean to, I go, look, vent, come on. But I need to be intelligent for you in this instance. And sometimes a buyer or seller gets emotional and needs someone to give them the hard truth and the hard facts, even when it doesn't coincide with their emotional state. So when you said that, that's where I got that from. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to know. So you want to hear the emotional side. I'm going to give you the factual side. If you listen to me, I will get you this home at the best possible price. If you don't, that emotion will take you into a whirlwind. And I wish if I can remember it, I'll send it to you guys. But that author and that course was amazing.
Yeah, please send it to us. That would be great. Yeah, I go in and I tell sellers, like, I have a process. And if we follow my process, I sell 100% of my homes and get you 100% of what you want. But it's a process. It's not a price. I'm not going to just come up and we're going to come up with a price and we're going to list it. It's a process, right? It takes me 7 to 10 days for it to go live. I'm going to send in the stager. After the stager leaves, very systematically, within 24 hours, you're going to have 10 boxes with my logo on them arrive at your door with all the packaging stuff. It's a cute little note that says, hey, take the stager's advice. Let's start packing up. Here's some boxes. Let's get started. Then once they give me the go-ahead, right?
I love that, actually.
Yeah.
Hey, you're going to have to pack later.
Yes.
I don't know if many of you remember, or was it at Luxury last year when Jordan Cohen said, this power word still sticks with me. Thank you for the opportunity to let me work for you.
He got that from Mike Ferry. I've been doing that for like 17 years. Yeah, that was directly from Mike Ferry. That's like one of the Mike Ferry scripts I would love the opportunity. I would love the opportunity to be interviewed. I always say I love the opportunity.
I'm gonna say this because you both just said it, and I think it's good for all of us as agents. Nothing we're doing is revolutionary. 100 people, the number one RE/MAX agent in the world, has stolen, taken, and redone 100 things and makes something work for him. Look, all of us have something to offer to everyone else. We're not in competition. There's enough business out there. I was just talking to Hilary yesterday about something that I'm helping her work on. I'm not going to divulge it here, but the reality is that if we can help each other, it's these little techniques that we do, and not all of us are going to do it. So the reality is, look, steal what they've got, make it work for you. And if it doesn't, use something else. But my phrasing is not going to work for everyone.
And don't recreate the wheel, just reinvent it.
I will tell you one thing that every agent should do. And I do think that my reputation, and agent to agent reputation is what I'm getting ready to say, is super important, because every agent, 100% of the agents in my marketplace know that they're going to go on with me easily, very easily, because I am going to call them. I'm going to over communicate. There's never going to be a question in anybody's mind, not in a buyer's mind, not in a seller's mind, as to what I'm doing and where I am. But what ends up happening is that when they start seeing my offers come over, they get accepted because they want to work with me, because they know it's not going to be a brand new agent. I have got a closing panel of inspectors and appraisers and surveyors. I mean, just that I have sold literally thousands of homes with, that at any point, if you need anything, we've got it covered.
Well, and that's our value too, every day in and day out. And that's what I'm seeing a little bit in our market is what's our value, especially with this in our lawsuit and everything. But what's our value? Now I'm working with a seller, and it's almost harder to say, what's my value now? But you're like, well, I am providing those, contacts. I am providing those people. I am providing all this. I'm going to fight for you through the whole process to make sure that you are actually safe and you're getting the most money, and you're not doing something you shouldn't be doing.
So I have a funny story about that, Hilary, about your listings. So we have a new office not our office, but somebody else has moved in right across the hall. So they moved in over the weekend. So I went over today to introduce myself, and I was like, hey, Jennifer Bullock, so glad you moved into the hallway. It's a financial advisor company over there. And so introduced myself, and she's like, hi, Jennifer, you were the buyer's agent for my boyfriend's condo 3 years ago. And he did a for sale by owner, keep in mind. And he was like, and damn, I just saw that you recently sold it. And well, he's like pissed off that he didn't get more money. And I was like, click, click, should have hired an agent. That's what you get when you get for sale by owner. But then she came back over. She's like, I think I overstepped my boundaries. I'm going to tell you, he said you did a great job. And I'm like, yeah, but you should represent yourself. You left tens of thousands of dollars on the table because you were trying to save $5,000 or $6,000.
And I just helped a client of mine literally on a seller side be able to profit another $33,000 just because of how I could negotiate strategies and things that I was like, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know,
That's beyond my commission.
Jennifer, you said something, and no kidding, like when brand new agent Jennifer Bullock calls and says, here's what I'm doing and here's why, even with the experienced agents, and look, I said it to someone today, I still learn something new every day. And if I learn something new,
Yes.
I say, look, I will go to bed after I learn something new. And sometimes that happens at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm going back to bed. I've learned what I needed to learn today. But the day I stop learning is the day that like somebody else will surpass me. But the reality is when you call up brand new agent, I will help you. I will get you your commission check if I have to do all the work myself, because there's one reality to this. My seller and my buyer, and whichever one I'm on, or their side, looks at brand new Jennifer Bullock and says, look, she was amazing and she learned something. And if I can offer that, I've done more than what I needed to do. And I sleep well at night knowing that. So the fact is, we all have something to offer. And our value proposition is very simple. I'm willing to get it done.
Right.
Yep.
Well, that's a true point, because we have a buyer and a seller or more that are wanting to get to the end goal. How do we get them there, right? How many
of you guys work in transactional? Are you all transactional states?
What do you dive into?
So in Florida, we work as a transactional. My duty is not to a client, it's to the transaction. I have to do what's in the best interest, so I can technically represent both sides.
Yeah, we're not. We represent buyers and sellers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
As
we
a
do
buyer's
buyer's
agent,
agent, but it's dual agency. Yeah. We
We don't do.
sure.
I think Jennifer, you're like me. We have dual agency, but we don't do
We're
it.
not allowed to do dual agency, but that's only if we're a single agent, because we can't offer loyalty to somebody, but that's why.
Gotcha.
Well,
What
if
would
you're
you touch on?
transactional, who are you loyal to?
The transaction. I have to do what's in the best interest of the transaction. I cannot do anything at the detriment of another. If I learn that you're getting a divorce, I can't divulge that to another party, no matter which side I'm on. Now that's the legal. Now, whether people actually say that or not, that's another conversation. But
Yeah. Well, what you guys both said, Jennifer and Jason, I mean, we do try to educate and definitely help out new agents, because we were all new once. And you're right. We all try to learn something every day. And I think this last year was amazing, because the mastermind that happened with Hilary and just the little tidbits we're able to share. And Steve and I talk on just about the daily basis. And Jason, you and I have spoken about different things and how do we help each other, just tweak our businesses. And we're always learning something from each other and trying
everyone needs to read that.
Yeah, I was
just got posted.
I'm sorry, what was it?
I'm sorry, Susan. But the fact is, if you're working with somebody, and I get it, and I've got buyer's agents and a transaction coordinator, and my transaction coordinator / assistant / team administrator, if I tell her to go run an errand, she's in the car. And before you feel overwhelmed, call me. We'll figure it out together.
I love that.
Yeah, and I tell my sellers, I'm like,
sorry, Susan, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm like,
okay.
that is it. Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes, Tracy. Good one. And if anybody else out there has a suggestion or something you do, please share it.
Yeah,
it's fun to hear from other people.
You realize the comments are about to blow up. You know that.
Right.
Yes, I'm hoping
What
so.
is it,
I'm
70
hoping
people
so.
right now on you?
Well, one thing I have told my client recently is, we're in this together. People always think that I'm on this for $1, right? But I don't get the $1 until we're in this together. And in all reality, I'm in it for the relationship. I'm not in it for the $1, because it doesn't mean anything if you don't have the relationship. You don't have the trust. You don't have what you want is the basis of a relationship. And if you don't have that, you have nothing.
Yeah,
because
I
they don't
can-
trust you.
I can go make money selling hot dogs. I do.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, I might as well sell hot dogs but I'm not in that business. I'm in the people business.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
I
similar
make
to
good
what,
money when I'm doing, but
Jennifer,
I do it for the people.
Steven, talk to me.
Sorry,
Nice.
I didn't realize. Sorry, Steve.
no, I forget if it was Jennifer who said at the beginning, back to basics, and someone said about working harder today. But one of the quotes I've been implementing lately, me and my mortgage lender talk about this. So it's a funny quote. I personally think we're back to kissing babies and shaking hands.
Yeah.
Because it's the
This
truth,
coming
like,
from
you
the
know,
guy in Philadelphia.
I will kiss all those Philly babies all day. It's, more than ever, it's, we have to be more, relationship if and not transactional ish if.
Yeah.
That's why when I go through like the process of buying and selling with people, I tell them about my marketing. I was like, settlement day is not the end. It's just the beginning. Like this is where, we're going to, you're going to see my marketing come to, to light more. So afterwards, so it's really just telling people like, sure, we have to call listing agents, kiss their hands a little bit. But like Jennifer said, they're going to remember that next offer more so an extra email, a little bit more caring.
That's right.
I'm going to ask this question, and this is a yes or no. How many of you actually think that the transaction's over the day of close? It doesn't happen. Like none of us, and I guarantee everyone watching this is going to say the same thing. I fielded a call today from a client I sold a year ago, has a problem. Our job doesn't end when we pick up the check. And the day that happens is the day I'm out of this business. The reality is all of us, I guarantee on this panel and everyone watching is going to say the same thing. I want a relationship with the client. I want to be your go-to to help you solve the problem. And I really make a whole lot less money because that's really the free services we do a year or two or three or four or five down the road to help you solve a problem that has nothing to do with buying or selling your house.
Right. I 100% agree with that. And for me, I mean, I tell buyers, like I will point out every single thing that I see wrong with the house, not cosmetic, but I mean, everything. And I'll always say, I'm not a licensed contractor. I am not an inspector, but I've been doing this a hell of a long time and I've sold a hell of a lot of houses and I can pick up on things that I see. And my job is to talk you out of it. And if you want it, your job is to tell me you want it anyway. But at the end of the day, I am trying, and I tell them, both of my children work for me. My team name is Jennifer Bullock Team, which in hindsight wasn't the best idea. However, I do.
When are you going to become a group?
My reputation, what? What, Jason?
When are you going to become a group? Everybody in your family works for you. When are you going to be a group?
But see, I mean, having everybody work for me, that's what I get on my listings and buyers that way. So I'm like, hey, my reputation is everything. I build clients for life. Clients for life. I mean, you call me 2 years from now and you need a babysitter, I'm going to send Grayson over there to help you. You need somebody to clean your house.
She's going to be like, thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It used to be Allie before she had a baby. To be clear, I used to pimp Allie out all the time. You would buy or sell her house. I was like, you've got 10 hours of free babysitting. You just let me know when. I'd be like, Allie, get over there. But I do, but it is far surpassed just what you do at closing, because you call me 6 months down the road, a year down the road. Hey, Jennifer, I need a doctor. I need a dentist. I need a hairstylist. It's like, yeah, I've lived here my entire life.
And
That's
also the additional value we do. Is almost like the day that we get our check is like the start of the marriage, right?
Yeah,
everything else, like we're dating during the contract, and then we get our check and they buy the house. And
Why is this the analogy? I'm just saying.
What?
Why is this the analogy?
Because he's not married. But the other thing, and Hilary said it too, and Jesse
We're in
just
it for the
said
long haul. So that's the marriage part. We're in it for the long haul.
Yeah. But
this is your question about how we stand out in our markets. I think everyone on this panel, I don't do a referral partner that doesn't have relationship in mind. I want to know when I pass it to Hilary, treat this person like it was your best friend. And I know that Susan's working a referral for me right now. It's a personal friend of a friend. Like, let me go back to this person, why we are the best in the industry. So I think we're all relationship based.
Like, would I be okay giving Hilary my parents? I mean, God bless her.
Well, I'd be happy to give my parents to Hilary, because honestly, I would never do that deal on my own.
That is funny. But I agree with you. When I first started real estate, I started with Coldwell Banker, and I hadn't been in it very long. And, everybody knows my story: divorce, lost everything, had to rebuild, all of that. But the one thing that helped me rebuild, I had $20 in my checking account, and I had 2 kids that were still in elementary school. My house was in foreclosure. You're right. So, but when I was like, oh shit, and my dad had died 45 days earlier. Like, I was at the bottom of my entire life. And once I realized that I was like a I couldn't get any worse. I was like, fuck it. I just need to help people. What could I do? If you want to find a rental, hell, I'll help you find a rental. No, I don't make any money about it. I don't make any money.
Rentals. I still do them.
Yeah, I'm like, I might not make any money,
Jennifer,
I'm trying to help you, and everything changed.
You've had enough experience in this industry. If you lost everything tomorrow, could you do it again?
Yes, amen.
This is what makes us the top of the marker. Because if we had to do it, we could go sell hot dogs or anything. We're good.
Well, Jason, you're supposed to say next. I'm Remax, and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I told her. I've always said I'll never swear on one of these panels or teaching or
so then
anything.
you just say the letter that it starts with.
Yeah, I just at it. Let's see what Tracy has to say.
Read it.
Yeah.
Out loud.
So she gives seller. I don't read well out loud. Okay, I'm teasing.
I give the sellers boxes to pack the day after we list the home. They do not need another thing to pack. I give the buyers a brain book at closing with all the necessary stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah,
inspection printout, inspection notice,
notice.
home warranty info.
Yeah.
We get the home warranty info and all that from our inspectors. So
that's cool, Tracy. So I had something similar, like, a guide, but like trigger words and like my marketing, I call it like
Trigger words.
I do. It's like, here's your roadmap. Here's your adventure and everything. Here's your compass, like trigger words like that, because it's not salesy. Like, here's your roadmap getting home. Like, that's so exciting. Like,
I just made a flyer for moving with pets. And especially because I'm getting a lot of people from California moving to Rhode Island, which I personally don't understand because it is from sunny California to New England is a different culture, but I love.
Oh my God. Can I answer this for you? Like,
how many Rhode Island
knocking
inside of Los Angeles?
Huh?
How many
Stop
Rhode
knocking it.
Oh, I'm not knocking it. I'm just like, I would live in California. It's sunny. It's cold.
I wouldn't.
That's it.
I wouldn't. I'm from California. I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't.
I would just say, I want to address Tracy real quick. Say one thing that I would challenge you to do, because I used to do the boxes on the day of closing, but it was Nick Bailey that said, literally told me, why do it on the day of closing? Why not do it on the day of staging? So that then they actually have it. Because then they're also talking to their neighbors. They're like, man, my agent's so awesome. She sent over a stager. She sent over boxes. She's, and so you're building that momentum.
That's a great point.
And then the other thing is, I've never done the brain book. I do give them all that information, but never the brain book. I think that's cute. But another thing I do is on January 10th, every single year, is I send out the closing disclosure. And my little note says, it's that time of the year you're thinking about taxes, and I'm sure you'll be looking for it. But I do it to the other side as well.
Oh, no,
right?
no.
So
Okay,
if I
hold on.
represent the
Put
seller,
this comment,
and the buyer gets it.
Put this comment that Lori just messaged.
Okay.
I was born in California and I would live in Rhode Island 1,000.
No, Lori.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to get there.
Come to
There
Rhode
you go.
No, it's beautiful here.
No, you know what? Wait, look, every buyer wants to live
season.
where they want to live. Everything that we do is based on, look, there's a house for every buyer.
Yeah.
And we all know it. I love the big city, but I love where I live because I can jump on a plane and be in Atlanta in 40 minutes rather than drive the 4 hours to get there.
Should I pick you up in an hour?
So many reasons.
It's only going to take you 45 minutes to get to Atlanta, but it's going to take you 60 minutes to get out of that damn airport.
And it's still going to take me 5 hours to drive up there. It's still faster, and Susan's going to pick me up with a sign.
I want to tell you,
Top of the escalator.
Atlanta is a different beast. I don't know how you do it, Susan, because when I went down for Celebration last year, was that Celebration in Atlanta last year?
Yes.
And then I went back a second time to do the National Board of Realtors Property Management Conference. I think it must have been Celebration that Maria Script picked me up from the airport. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. She's like, what? I was like, I'm getting a panic attack. I was like, 25 lanes of traffic. Holy shit. I've never seen that before. Let's keep in mind, Wilmington, North Carolina, I already told you the population, 150,000 max. Our airport, our international airport has 8 gates. 8. Yeah. I guarantee I go into the airport and I know 50% of the people because there are only like 50 people there.
Yeah, I call your airport a puddle jumper.
Yeah.
Look at our airport. Our airport's bigger than yours, right? Pensacola?
Yes.
Yes. And that is the smallest airport I ever travel out of.
Well, come visit me. Steve came down, flew into Wilmington.
Okay,
Fine, let me
Jennifer,
just
I
give
am
you
now
the-
putting this on my travel schedule. I'm coming to visit you.
Well, please do.
Yes.
I would love it. Everybody, come on.
Atlanta's easy. The airport is so easy.
Did we
once
just
you
come up with
figure it out.
the next mastermind here? Like,
Yes, come on.
We're going to Wilmington and we're going to take it by storm.
Yeah, do it. Let's do it. That would be fun. We have a
We're gonna host a mastermind in Rhode Island and only invite California agents.
well, that's
They're all going to move.
it's a
All
lot
those
of
agents are going to move.
Yeah, we have a lot of military, and there's a lot of different reasons. A lot of people, especially, are from the Massachusetts area that I'm seeing. So I get it. It's just cold.
yeah, it's not cold here. Well, actually, tomorrow's Tuesday. Tomorrow we're having a cold front.
We're gonna see how much we get. We're in the Newport bubble, they call it. So it's because we're so coastal that half the state usually gets actual snow, and we just get rain. We'll see.
Yeah. We've had
Eric,
rain
Eric, you want to buy me a drink or lunch?
Oh, we're getting asked out. We're getting asked out on this.
Okay, do it after the marathon. After the marathon, you want to run really well, Eric. Come on.
Yes, and I would love that. That would be super fun.
No, but honestly, and I mean, I know that we've gotten completely off topic in this, but I'm reading the comments about the number of people that do boxes and sellers. Look, what I love about this group, and I think I call Jennifer about every third time that she hosts one of these. And I love it. The ideas that come across, everyone doing similar stuff, but based on their market is amazing. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and Jason, it's back to you said you can learn something from everybody. It was interesting because I was talking to an elite agent that was talking about getting the Pinnacle and Diamond agents together at R4 and only those agents. And my question to them, and I've been Diamond and Pinnacle for the past 5 years, but my question to them, and to be clear, this year I didn't make Pinnacle, which about made me throw up, but whatever.
Stop it. You missed it by $5.
No, I don't know, whatever. But I was like, but why? And they're like, because and I'm like, but I could talk to a brand new agent that just got his license yesterday. And I promise you could teach me something on Instagram and definitely something on TikTok or something that's trending. Or, I mean, there's something to be gained by every single person. And the minute that you get into your elitist head that you are this, God has a quick way of bringing you back down and showing you some damn humility.
Well, and also only with those types of people, you want some new ideas to share.
Amen.
Like you're in this bubble almost. You want new ideas. You want things to kind of pop up out of it.
Jennifer, I've said this to you before, and I can say this. I have friends, and I made platinum as a single agent, and that was hard in my market. Stop. I have taught in Pinnacle level teams and brokerages, and I have learned something from executive level producers. And I will tell you something, the people who make Diamond and Pinnacle, I still talk to on a daily basis because I have something to offer them. The day that you tell me that the elite member has something so extraordinary, I met an agent who was a Titan level producer, and he said, I don't get out of bed anything less than 4 million. And when you told me that, I said, you know what? You're not the category of agent that I want to work with, because what you make on a daily basis has nothing to do with your work ethic. I want to know how many transactions you close, how many clients that you still talk to on a daily basis. So,
Jason, I think that is so important. And I tell the agents on my team that you have to treat everybody equally. And that it can be hard, right? I know some agents that I no longer refer to because they're like, I will only take this price point and I will only do it if they guarantee they're going to buy. And I mean, we can't guarantee. And I mean, you're going to be shitty. You're going to be shitty. I don't want to use you. But with me, I mean, I had years ago, I was telling the team, one of our core values is everybody's treated equally in the golden rule. You're going to treat others as you want to be treated. Everybody has a fair shake. Well, I'm having this lecture, and then that was on a Friday. And then on a Sunday, this guy calls me and he wants to see, and he speaks very little English, and I speak nothing but English. So he calls me and he wants to see.
There's an app for this. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Well, so he wanted to see in Regalwood, which is an hour from me, and it was a $20,000 trailer. And I mean, to be clear, it was Sunday. I wasn't doing anything else. I didn't want to drive an hour. I went to show one house, but I did it. And do you know he paid cash for it? And that year he bought 17 homes from me. And after that, he never wanted to see another one. I figured out his story. His story was that he was from Mexico. He had 18 siblings. He was bringing one over at a time, and he would buy them anything to live in. They all had a different trade. One was an electrician, one was a plumber, one was a tile person, one was an HVAC, and they would come into each person's home and completely rehab it. About 17 homes, and his cousin brought 2 for me last year. So, I mean, I think you can't chase money.
No, you can't.
You have to chase relationships, which I think you said, Hilary.
Really, Jennifer, tú necesitas hablar español mucho. Really.
I think
Where did that come from?
Jennifer, in that
Jennifer,
people do the same thing. Sorry, Jason. They do the same thing with rentals, and I think that's a great point. You'd be surprised, and that's Jordan Cohen said the same thing. Is like, don't turn your head at rentals because you never know. I mean, I had 2 rentals last year. One bought 1.3 and the other one bought $680,000 townhome, and it was their first home. Mm-hmm. So you just have to nurture those rentals. Yes, it's not a lot of income. It's a lot of work, but everybody's got to have a place to live, and you've got to treat people kindly. So what you and Jennifer and Jason have said, it's amazing. You do have to treat people kindly.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the top agents on my team has actually made Pinnacle 3 years in a row. And I was just checking out everybody's sales. Her lowest sale last year was $2,000. She literally walked away with like $100 or $200, but she freaking kicked butt for it and worked her butt off for it. Right. And it shows.
Sure. Jennifer, you and I have had this conversation many a times. Like, you and I aren't friends because, oh my God, I look at you because you're this Pinnacle level producer, because you're a quality individual and you're willing to take people under. I know I'm gonna, don't cry over this. You're willing to take people and make them better. And when you've asked me for help, or the time where I got on a Zoom with you and your daughter, showing you how to do like video editing.
Dude, you talk so far over my head though. I was like,
but she picked it up. Like, she wanted to really get into it. And the thing is, we all have something to offer each other, and whether we're this level or that level. I've talked to Jordan Cohen a couple of times. Like, I don't know him, but every time I talk to him, the guy is so humble, and he doesn't like to be on the stage. And yet he says, I'm the number one agent, not because I know more than you. It's because I'm willing to outwork you. I'm willing to have a work ethic that is beyond what you're willing to do. And the day that you say you're not going to outwork me today is the day that we're going to actually do something together.
Yeah. And so I sent him an Instagram message, and I was like, hey, my team and I bought everybody your book, and we're having a book club. And these are some questions that came along through it. And he was like, when's your book club? Can I join? And he friggin' Zoomed us for an hour solid. And I was like, I mean, holy shit. Talk about humble.
And this is a nod to the network right here. And this is a nod to the network that we all are able to pick up the phone with each other. Doesn't matter what level you are. And we're able to collaborate, to grow, to push each other further. And I think that's something really incredible. We're here for each other. And that is the relationship, going back to it.
Yeah. Amen. I think that is brilliant. You're exactly right. 100%. Yeah, it's interesting that I had been with RE/MAX. So I was at Coldwell Banker for 8 years, and I've been with RE/MAX 10 years. And I started at a different RE/MAX than I am now. And the other RE/MAX, which is exactly 1 mile down the street, never told me about R4. Never told me that there was another life within. And I do think at that time, the reason why is
it's another time.
Well, the owner had a team, and so it was real advantageous for him not to tell us about the network and ways to use it. When I moved over to the new office and different firm, different, everything owners, they were like, hey, Jennifer, you've got the personality for R4. I didn't discover R4 until like 4 years ago. And it was a friggin' game changer. And the network, what is a game changer? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the one thing I wish what's that saying? I wish I knew then what I know now. I just wish I knew what this adoption process was going to be like, because I've got so many moms, brothers, and sisters out there that I don't know what to deal with on a daily basis. I didn't sign up for this.
Are you adopting? What are you adopting? Are you adopting a child, a dog? What are you adopting?
No, he has moms, brothers, and sisters that adopted him. That we look out for him and all that stuff.
I'm like, what are we adopting? Oh my God, you're adopting? How come I didn't know that?
Okay.
The same thing that Steve says in this.
I think
this
Jennifer's capped out. That means Jennifer's done.
This network is so powerful, and I will say this wholeheartedly. The only reason I'm getting to speak at R4 is because, maybe a few of them are on this, that 4 or 5 brokers told corporate, you need to get him on the stage, and people wanted to see me. That's it. I'm not speaking because I have something extraordinary. It's because people have gotten something out of something I've given to them, and they want something beyond that and should be taught at R4. And I'm honored to be able to do it. And I'm actually a little nervous by it. But this network is powerful because we're willing to step up for each other.
Yeah.
Well, so I have a question for you guys. What is the one thing, and I don't remember who just said it. Steve, I guess, just said it. What is the one thing that you know now that you wish you knew when you got into real estate?
Into real estate?
Yeah. So like you just said, Stephen, you said, what is it? Like, because I was saying, I wish I knew. And you're like, so many people say that they wish I knew. So what is the one thing? So R4, like the connection is really important. I think not going to a small boutique brokerage, because I think that network is so powerful. I had 67 agent referrals last year.
Right.
Friggin' amazing. And then I also think that just, the other thing is, I think all new agents need to know. I think the number one thing you need to know, this is not a flexible industry. It is not flexible. There's nothing about it flexible. You have to work, and you have to work hard. And it's like Jason said, I'll outwork you. You can't do that with a flexible schedule. Mm-hmm. Okay, so everybody, tell me what is the one piece of advice you would give a brand new agent? What advice would you give them?
So can I jump in on this?
Please.
No, hold on. In order.
Oh, in order. Go.
Steve, you're on the spot.
Okay.
It's kind of like, what do you?
Personally, lately, I've been thinking about this a lot. I think it's, be prepared to give yourself grace to fail, and it's okay, because you're going to look back and say, yes, but I learned a lot. And now I came back, bounced back, I kicked ass, and you're supposed to learn. You have to be held by the hand once, and if you have to be held by the hand twice sports, that's fine. Lean on those around you. That's the biggest takeaway. Lean.
Yeah,
lean until you fall.
I think that's really good. I was talking to Stephen Mosier from Charlotte earlier this morning, and he was saying his biggest, one thing that he loved is failing. And it was the opportunities to learn and to grow from the failure, as long as you're failing upward, right? I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Hilary, talk to me, girl.
So here's the thing. I was a team member before, jumped into the brokerage. So I went from pretty much an individual agent to co-owner of Remax here in Rhode Island. Overnight too. It was crazy. It was like a quick put it down.
Yeah.
So the one thing is amazing on the brokerage side is that we are a big network, but we are independently owned and operated. So we are a small boutique brokerage almost, because we get to run it the way we want. However, we have this massive network behind us. So you're never alone. That's what I think is absolutely special about this. Kind of jumping off of what Steve said too, is we have more support when it comes to education from LLC, when it comes to education from our peers and our local peers as well. We have more to give and more to gain.
I agree with that. And I don't think small is bad. I wasn't saying small was bad. I was saying, but we've got Property Shop across the street from us. Have you ever heard of them? No, nobody has, because they're locally owned and operated, where you can be in Remax and be internationally, connections.
We're looking at our luxury and everything. And the fact that we're in over 110 countries is crazy. And that's the power of the brand. But this type of mastermind that we're doing, this conversation, these things are just making it even bigger and better.
Amen. I agree.
I'm loving seeing younger agents get into Remax, because I remember, I don't know if it was 2018 or 2019, I went on a listing appointment and the seller said, "Oh, you're a lot younger than I thought, because most of my recent Remax agents have been very seasoned." And I said, "Well, I appreciate that. Thank you."
So Susan, what's something you would recommend?
Well, everybody's had great things, but what I would recommend is I did not take advantage of Brian Buffini's coaching way back in the very beginning with his CRM. I can still remember a mortgage lender giving me the by referral only book. And I was like, oh, I should have just dug into that one deep. And I think as a new agent, that's one thing that you really have to dive into is your CRM and putting some list together in a place that you just work it. Because everybody's always said the only CRM that works is the one that you work.
Yeah, amen to that. And I think it's interesting, though. So to be clear, I did not work my sphere of influence until like year 10, because I could call a million people and I could do expired listings. I could do cold calling. I could do open houses. I could door knock. All those things I was really good at.
Yeah.
But I never had the fear of rejection. But to call my friend and ask them to refer me, I was terrified of my friends, like my personal interconnections, like telling me no, rejection. So, but I think it's important to have like multiple pillars of business.
I do too. And I think Rich made the comment down below that your brokers, my brokers are amazing. And they also do like a savings account. If you want to go to R4, they'll hold money back out of your checks. And nobody takes advantage of it, but they're the ones that got me to go to R4 after being with the brand for 20 years. And it was something I didn't really know. And I'm thankful for them because they keep pushing and supporting. And that's super important.
I agree with you. 100%. What about you, Jason?
What was the question again?
New agents advice. What is one thing that you wish you had started sooner?
And I'll say this, and we have a theme on our team, and take it if you like it. If your phone's not ringing, make someone else's ring. And in that, whether it's with a client, whether with as a prospect, look, other agents, there's so much talent in this network that you can't define it in one course. You can't get it from a coaching program. Pick up the phone and call someone when you need something. Pick up the phone and call a prospect or a follow-up that you're just want to talk to. Pick up the phone or wait for that call to come and be willing to engage with it. So I wish I would have learned that about 3 years sooner than I did. Because when I realized, and I told my broker, and it was a hard conversation, we're going to R4. I'm not going to see you. If I see you, I'm going to say hi. I am not going to go have dinner with you. I'm not going to do X. And this is no disrespect. And I'm telling you, my reputation in this industry and this network blew up because I wanted to meet people, a Jennifer Bullock, a Steve Hull, a Hilary, a Susan. Like I wanted.
We all met at these conferences.
Yes, and the thing was, my business exploded because I was willing to go outside of my normal capsulated vision of what this needed to be. So here's the thing: if you want to outwork your competition, get on the phone. Pick up the phone and just outwork them. Don't think that you can mimic what they're doing. Pick up the phone and create relationships.
Yeah, and I was talking to Josh May a couple of weeks ago, and I think one thing he was really good at is you might not want to call expired listings. You might not want to call your sphere of influence. You have to come up with the people you feel good about and the pillars of business that you are good at.
What's your niche?
Them. That's right. Work them. Just work them.
I don't do door knocking. Yeah, I'm not a door knocker. Never have been. Never will be. But there are people who are great at it. One of my great friends is great at door knocking. And I called her and I asked her, what do you do? What's your script? Because one of the agents on my team wanted to do it. And I understood the script. I understood what they were doing, but I wanted to make it as beneficial as I could if she decided she wanted to do it. Here's the thing. I don't have a lot to teach. I think it's a safety thing. I can hit 10,000 people for the 25 that you might hit in an hour by social media and a few other ventures. Find what works for you and master it and outwork the person that's next to you.
But I think if you want a closing in 30 days, make somebody else's phone ring, right? Pick up the phone. It's free. Call the people in your database. Even if you don't have like a Buffini database, you've got your phone.
Right.
I'll jokingly say that literally during this podcast, if you want to call it that, my phone is absolutely blowing up right now. I think people who are watching this, that's the only thing I can say, because they're making comments that they can't get on here. They're saying, "Oh my God, I need to call you."
Oh, that is so funny. Look, Tracy said, dig up old bones. That's right. Pick up the phone, call them. That's right. But I will be quick to tell you, now I am good at asking for my friends for business, because the minute I see they've listed their home, they are no longer my friend. They are dead to me. I'm like, or at least give me the opportunity. I'm not saying you have to use me, but give me the opportunity.
Well,
give me the opportunity to be interviewed.
That's huge, because here's the thing. It goes back to, in a way, the pillars of know, like, and trust. That's a B&I thing.
That's
But
right.
if you know me, you like me, you trust me, why aren't you giving me the opportunity?
That's right. And you don't have to
Right.
use me, but at least give me the respect and opportunity.
Give me
I'm
the
not for
respect
everybody. I'm not for everybody. And I promise you, if I can't do your transaction, I know someone who can, even in my own office.
Yeah.
I'm not for everybody.
Well,
Let me help you. And if I can't, I will give you to someone else.
Yeah.
Yes. I would agree.
Going off of like picking up the phone, last year I had a really good conversation with Sandy McAlpine from Charlotte, and she recently told me about the Ford method, that Ford letter that you write in November.
Yeah.
The Ford method is, you write a letter to your clients, tell them about your family, your occupation, your recreation, and then your dreams. I wrote that, and it wasn't even about real estate. It was about me and everything. And you get good, get good rapport from it.
So it's funny. We call it love letters. We just send them out for Valentine's Day.
Oh.
That's a great one. That's a great one to use the same.
But it's the exact same. But it's the exact same letter, Stephen, that you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. When going off of what Jason said, the minute you stop humanizing your business is the day, you're not going to be able to come up anymore.
And that's interesting too, because I think social media too. I was reading a couple of times, different people said kind of the same thing. You need like 6 personal posts about you and 2 or 3 business posts, because people don't want to see like, I'm great, I'm fabulous, look what I've done, look what I've done, they want to know that you're there and you do have a life outside of work.
Yeah.
And that's important too.
I'm going to make a point to this.
Do it.
Everyone knows I'm a foodie. I have gotten more business because of the food posts I have made at RE/MAX conventions from other agents and clients. Go, oh my God, you're at another convention. I thought about selling my house. Yeah. Find something you love.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You share it with the people in your database, and they will flock to you because you're human. You're a person. They want to work with somebody that's going to take care of them, not someone because you're the number. Jordan Cohen is not the number 1 agent in the world because he's a nice guy. He'll outwork you to death.
Amen.
And he's good at what he does. So when you call him, he's a human that you just want to relate to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
There's my TED Talk for the day. Sorry. No RE/MAX.
Yeah. I think, and you were talking, I think everybody kind of talked about the power of the brand. But, I had just had the surgery, and that's why this has not been on for the past 2 weeks. So thank you all for joining us tonight. And thank panel for understanding why I had to cancel on you the last minute, the last 2 weeks. But
no. You know what? You're human. We're glad you're doing this again. Seriously, I was thrilled to be your next one back. So don't ever apologize for that.
But I mean, but like the power of the brand, I had When I tell you 300 to 400 people, that is such an understatement. Called me, texted me, sent me flowers, sent me gifts, sent me letters. I mean, I almost was like really embarrassed. Like I was like, oh my God, like am I posting about this too much? Like, look at all of this. But in the same token, I was like, damn.
If you'd had 8,000, maybe I would have told you that.
But Jennifer, that also relates to the quote about people, how you made them feel, Jennifer.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I know how they made me feel. They made me feel wonderful.
Well, we're glad you're back and you're up and moving, and everybody's been thinking about you. And I know Jason kept us posted. And Jason, thanks for sharing the stage with us tonight, because we kind of bombarded on your
stop. Like I was thrilled. Like I'm like, okay, great. It's gonna be a one-on-one with me and Jennifer. I'm like, oh God.
No, Jason.
I was thrilled when I found out about this. I'm like, okay, cool. Like we're gonna have one epic, and let's be honest, we've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. And how many people do you have on right now?
Yeah, a lot. I can't see how many. Well, I probably could if I went to Facebook.
I can see on my personal page, I have 17 on my personal page on right now.
We have I
don't see how that works. But
yeah, I can't, not unless I pull up Facebook, and I can't do that. I can't do that because I'll be
the reality is I never wanted to do this on my own, but I volunteered to fill a slot for her. She knows that. She said, look, I've told her, if you need someone, I will gladly do it anytime you need. And, we'll have an engaging conversation and we'll talk about it. When she, emailed, I've got a biggest panel. I'm like, shit, I'm just glad I'm part of it.
Me too. I was very thrilled.
Yeah. Well, I was still like, okay. And I want to say March 11th, we're doing it live. So Stephen, you were asking about the live.
Oh, by the way, for your R4 one, I will gladly be on that panel. I forgot to tell you last time we talked.
Okay.
Oh, I'm on that. I'll bombard yours, or you'll bombard mine.
I'm going to come in.
Yeah.
Yes. We've got like 4 or 5 people, so I think R4 will be fun. But
can we do that by the pool?
Yeah. No, I will tell you, it will depend on internet reception, because at Elite last year, I tried to do this and it did not go well. I was trying to do it from my phone. We didn't have good connection. You couldn't hear, you couldn't see. It was in and out. Everybody was telling me, but I was standing back so far to get everybody in it. I couldn't see what they were saying. Yeah, it was a nightmare. So as long as we have good internet reception, yes.
Yeah.
Mandalay Bay actually has some very good reception versus MGM. I was out there in December and I thought that the internet was better. So
he flew out just to test the internet. Just want to let you know.
That's exactly what it was in the high roller suite, because I'm a beginner gambler.
Jason, thank you. Taking care of us. I appreciate that. Awesome. But Steve, to answer your question, or somebody asked me, how did I get everybody live? We're getting them live again March 4th. I believe.
Oh, there went Steve.
Oh, my laptop's telling me it's going to die if I don't charge it.
Oh my God, he's back.
Yeah.
Well, I have to jump off too soon, because I've got a new client that I have a phone call with.
It's an honor. Seriously, I'm glad you guys did join. I would have done this with Jennifer one-on-one, but seriously, this was fun.
Yes. So every Monday at 5:00 Eastern Standard Time, join.
Yeah, thank God you did disclose your Eastern Standard Time, because this guy doesn't understand time zones. Because apparently Florida
I don't either.
4 time zones. I don't know what you got down there.
Yeah.
Well, I just know everybody's like, it's California time, and I'm like, oh, Mountain time. I'm like, can somebody do the math for me?
Well, this has been wonderful. Seriously. I mean, this truly describes the power of the network. So I have to jump off, guys. I have a new client calling me, but it's so good seeing everyone. Thank you, everyone who's joined.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll see you at R4.
Before, see you guys.